way it is. Huh. Do you know the song? I would understand that. No problem, my dear.
What is voguing in hip hop dance? Is it A?
Which
Which one
one?
is it?
Which one do I connect it to?
A,
Call a friend?
What is good? Welcome to the Kanje Dance Podcast, where we sit down and we chat to creatives in, but not limited to, the dance industry, where we just chill. We chill and we conversate. And we want to learn and get to know about their fascinating journeys to success in their respective fields. There's so much that we can learn from one another, and this is the platform for that. I'm your host, Cassidy. You see, today is a very special episode. It's special because we get to sit down with what I would call an OG. Yeah? An OG. He is a hip hop ambassador, a breaker. He's also a dance educator and mentor for emerging breakdancers in Cape Town specifically. He was part of a group called Brasa van die Kaap. And this was the group, there was obviously people before Brasa van die Kaap, but this was a group that really helped set the standard for hip-hop culture in South Africa. And we get to sit down and hear from his perspective, his journey to success, why he became a mentor, and him also sharing tips and advice for us as upcoming dancers on what it's like to present yourself in the business element as a career, and also what the difference is between a dancer who does battles and a dancer who does this for a living. Today we are here with Nathan Lodewyk. Am I saying his name correctly? Lodewyk?
They say there's no master of pronunciation.
Super, so true.
Actually, Lodewyk.
So
But a lot of people come with Lodewyk, and then I'm like, where are you from? A Gudenhagen.
So it's actually German.
That's Lodewyk.
Lodewyk. Okay.
I don't know if you did history. Koning Lodewyk.
We only learned about the French.
17e. That is now an archive time I'm talking about.
Those years, ancient
So
history.
they actually cut that part of history out of the syllabus, like the curriculum. Like,
remove the
okay, you don't need to know about the French or whatever the case. Los vir Koning Lodewyk.
Koning Lodewyk. Okay, meneer Lodewyk. Can you introduce yourself as if someone else was doing it for you? Like in the third person, how would you introduce yourself?
I normally don't like doing that.
Okay.
I normally leave that for other people because klink so conceited as it I don't. But I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try. So my name is Nathan. The surname is Lodewyk. Don't forget it. I am, how do you put this now? I don't want to say multi-talented, but I MC, I write, and I coach breaking. The reason why I'm saying coach breaking is because I don't compete anymore. I'm a motivational speaker, and I like to inspire.
I love that. What is one thing people don't know about you, or that our listeners might not know about you?
I like being by myself sometimes.
Introverted?
Yes. I'm an introvert / extrovert.
Me
So
too.
I will get a bit into that, and I will explain to you how it came to the
extrovert. Me too. It's so relatable.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an ambivert, where it's like I get my energy when I'm alone. Like that's how I refuel myself. Being outside and talking drains me. but it's part of what you have to do.
It is training. The other thing about me is also I like listening to different kind of music.
Oh.
So
okay, that's cool.
Very in touch with my emotions, especially when I listen to music. So sometimes I would listen to tracks that's very weird, but there's something in that track
that's touching you,
draws my attention,
okay,
and I will just listen to it. And it depends on how I feel as well. If I feel this track is giving me the beast mode, I will listen to it, whether it is an old song,
that year's music.
That hey, some people look at me funny, like, what are you listening to? Like my son would normally say, what are you listening to? Like, dude, you will never understand.
You'll never know what it means to
never know. Never know.
You'll never know. That's crazy, man. But that's interesting, and I feel like in today's episode we're gonna get to know more about you and where it all came and how you became this extroverted, introverted person.
Oh,
so
let's see.
To start us off, could you share about like a little bit about your journey and where it all started for you? So because you are a dance educator, you also break dance. That's part of your journey.
Yes.
So as a dancer, where did that all start for you?
I remember music was one thing I always loved, and I still do. Moving was the other thing, like always, like I remember at my uncle's wedding, I was probably like 6 or 7 years old, or 8 years old. So we were dancing, me and my cousin, in a circle, but it wasn't breaking per se. It was just moving and dancing and skitty skouers and that. I'd always be like my cousins. Michael Jackson used to come on, and I would be the front person, and and then as I grew older, that faded, and I went into beer mixing.
Beer mixing?
Yes.
As a job?
No, roadmaster. Like, we would be a couple of, we were a lot. I remember at my house where I lived, there used to be like over 20 guys coming with their bikes, and the bikes would lay there. So we used to drive from Pontyville to Kudu to wherever, Kloofnek and stuff like that. And just die trickies gemaak op die bikes, man. Swipes, 360s. And then one day, my friend came to me and he said, hey, you must see this guy. I'm like, what guy? You must just come with me, man, tomorrow to see what he does. And he does this thing. And, what are you talking about? And eventually I decided to go with him the next day. And I'm like, oh my word. This guy is doing hop turtles, and he's doing Astros hier in die pattern. And then like, what is this? And then eventually it caught attention. And then that is how I got into breaking. And we started training.
Because you found it interesting.
My dancing got structure now.
Yeah.
So now I know.
Yes.
And I have a style.
Yes.
And we started getting into that, started focusing on that. And we were about 5 guys. So it was me, Charlie, Braki, Ricardo Zani. It was my brother, Bradley, aka Foa. It was Royjan, Enrico, aka Royjan. And then what's the 5th guy? There was another guy. Well,
he was the guy.
He was the
guy.
So we used to call ourselves the mind-blowing assassins.
The mind-blowing
assassins. Because
our
mind was blown.
What were you assassinating?
We were assassinating the moves. So we trained in the road. We used to sit on the pavement and wait for the cars to come past, and then we go.
So nothing of like throwing out that
nee, nothing. Nie ons maar op die pavement op die net so. So that is how we used to train, School of the Hard Knocks, and we had no coach. Other than the guy that just showed us the basics one day, and we're forever grateful for him. I remember I got him on social media, because I was looking for him all the years. Actually, the guy who introduced us to Wani was in my class. His name was Alfred. Funny thing is, when in my time it was called standard, we were standard 7.
Okay.
And I broke my leg in standard 7.
Broke?
In PT, yeah. Soccer, playing soccer.
Whoa.
And ball sports for me, that day I decided, goodbye, I'm done with you. You will never see me on the field. That's why you will never see me play a ball sport, because
anything can happen.
Trauma.
Yeah.
It's so like I could hear that crack that morning. That's a Tuesday morning. I will never forget. I still remember it like it was yesterday. All I know, I was running for the ball. The next thing I knew, I was laying on the floor like this, and all I heard was
ooh. Ooh.
And the next thing that came out of my mouth was, Mommy!
Was she there?
Like, no, she wasn't. I was at school. So, we lay there, and it was before interval. And so interval came, and everybody standing around me. My one friend, Clint, he was just funny. So he bends down, he looks to everybody's legs there, and I could see him and he's giving the smile.
What?
And then I started smiling there. I'm like, bruh, your funny face I can't see right now.
Wait, did you have feeling in your legs? Like when you heard that crack? Ooh.
Yeah,
Did you still have
like a sting, like you know, like I can't explain the pain, but I could feel that I couldn't get up here because this part was here. And I was trying to lift up, and I just see when I saw that, I'm like, That's when I started. No. So they asked the PT teacher asked Mr. September was his name. He asked, and today me and this guy is good friends. He's a detective today. Okay. So we asked him. They asked him to go fetch 2 planks, man, so they can splint. You know what? Okay. He brings 2 small sticks like this.
Where? From where?
He fetched it. They must have split my leg with it. They tell him, dude, nee man. Toe vat hulle toe van die bankplank, you know, the back. Yes. So they took that and they split my legs, and then they took me to Red Cross. Yeah. And then Alfred used to tell me, "Jy moet go breakdance, man. Jy moet go break." I'm like, what are you talking about? And eventually he introduced us to Wani. Okay. And that is how my journey started. Wow. With breaking. Wow.
That's interesting. Thanks to the soccer, I guess we're here now. Yeah, we here. And I mean, how long did your leg take to heal?
The funny thing of it was supposed to be 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So that time they put on a cast. So
not that massive boot that people wear now.
Not that is modern days. So ek het 'n gips in Afrikaans, like so. Well, okay. Yeah, where you would sit and you have a thing in your hand that is so long. If it itched, then you put it down there, then you scratch. Then you scratch. So went to the doctor. So it was close to the time for my cast to come off. So go there. They send me for x-rays, and then they see, it is growing skew. So what they did, they cut open here with a type of a grinder. Okay. I will never forget. So okay. And the doctor gave me a sweet, and he said, you must bite on this. No injection, no nothing, and he push. He straightens the leg, and he put a wooden block in there. I'm like,
What was in the sweet?
It's a sweet, like a normal smoothie. Sweet. So that sweet had no mercy, because the moment they started doing that, I was biting, I was shouting and biting at the same time. So again for x-rays, not right yet. Come back, boop, bigger block, boop, go back eventually. So I had to wait another
6 weeks.
Another 6 weeks, yeah. So it was almost like 2 months, almost 3 months.
So during this time you met Wani, while you were still you were still healing.
I didn't meet Wani, but Alfred used to tell me about Jamaica breakdance, like walking with the crutches on school and whatever. And he would make like he's gonna do something, like he would do a little top. Ek weet nie wat hy aanvang. And also one of the other, there was a song that actually put the cherry on the cake, and it was a song called "It's Like This."
What is that?
DMC. It's just the way it is. Do you know the song? I would understand it. No problem, my dear.
Thank you.
It is also fine. But we're talking about archives.
We're going into the archives.
I think it could be also before you were born. So
way before.
But Run DMC. You can search the song when you have time, just to do your research. But, there's some breaking in there, some popping, and what Kujo is in there. So it was one of the. That is how it started.
That's how it started. So when it started, so now you've discovered breaking, you've put a name to what you've been doing, or you've put structure to what you've been doing. At what point did you decide, okay, this is gonna be my mode of expression? This is gonna be the way I feel, how I want to show people this is who Nathan is.
So now we're talking about the introvert, extrovert.
Now we're going there.
So breaking for me, when it actually started to make sense for me, is when I started getting the moves right.
Okay.
So my first combo was windmill hop turtles. I could already do 6 steps and stuff like that, and freezes and swipes. But now you must know the journey was still fairly young. And we took hours and we put in hours without a coach telling us, hey, julle moet gaan oefen en julle moet doen. So, you see, I'm going to attach it to this, how I grew up. I grew up not having my father present in my life. Not that he wasn't there, but he wasn't present.
Okay.
And I couldn't go to him like a son would go, because my mom and my dad never got married. So there were times that I needed him, he wasn't there. So as a teenager, you grow up angry with that in mind, because you see other stuff. And so I think breaking became an outlet for me.
Okay.
And it became my voice. It became my voice, literally. So I could express what I feel or what I wanted to say when I dance. And that is why you would feel the energy, and you would feel like, hey, what maak die man? And we progressed fast.
Wow.
Because that then led to us meeting Dwayne and Brandon. So we were at the AFM Youth. Ons in die kerk groot geword, kerk gedans.
Youth groups.
If you talk about performing in churches, we performed in all of them.
Wow.
Most likely all of them. But I'm going to tell you this, our very first experience was not a nice one.
Woo!
Toe een van die aunties met die boekies kom en sê, kom hier so, julle wat speel op kop draai. Kom hier.
These aunties.
So julle moet ons bid, julle moet julle bekeer, julle is van die duivel af. So that was a moment for me, because I was speechless, because I couldn't say anything.
You couldn't believe that this lady.
My facial expression.
Because she literally said, let's go pray for you now.
But nonetheless, we never stopped doing that. And I know with our journey, we've reached a lot of youth as Crazy Hip Squad. We later then formed Crazy Hip Squad. So
Crazy Hip Squad didn't have a name before they became Crazy Hip Squad.
So this is how it became Crazy Hip Squad. So it was me, my brother. My brother used to sit and watch us, man.
Younger brother.
Yeah, my younger brother. It was me, Charlie, my brother, and Ricardo Zani, and Roy Zan. There we go. There's the 5. It was
Roy Jan is the guy that.
Yeah, he's the guy. Enrico, aka Roy Zan.
Okay.
So so what then happened? We were told at youth by a friend of ours, hey, youth member, hey, daar gaan dansers môre wees op die winkelstoep. Hulle doen 'n open air en wat. So this Saturday morning, het was vroeg op joh. Ons sit daar onder die boom, maar het ons altyd gesit het en laat ons geprek het. Kyk na die winkelstoep toe. Ons wag nou vir die mense om uit. So eventually we see them setting up speakers and whatever. So we went down and we stood there. And then we saw two guys getting out and Daryl, which was part of our youth. And then they came to rap there. So the first question that Dwayne asked was, can you guys dance? I said, yeah, we can.
Of course.
And then they threw out the vinyl and they went by the name of Eternal Sons.
Okay.
So they had this track, Eternal
So
Sons.
Eternal Sons gospel group and and you guys were dancing.
So Dwayne and Brandon was there and that is when we met them and we danced. And then they said, guys, you must come again, man. The following week, I remember it was in February, it was still my birthday. And that was the birth of Crazy Ep Squad that same week, because then we performed on the Freedom Square. And then there we decided, okay, we're gonna start a crew. And Dwayne spoke to us about Battle of the Year. That was in 1999. And that is when we started Crazy Ep Squad in 1999. And we decided we're gonna enter Battle of the Year. And we decided on a name at 128 Bontiville Avenue. Oppie Stoepie, it was decided op Crazy Ep Squad.
Beautiful, man.
And that is how we were born.
Iconic story. Iconic birth of Crazy Ep Squad. You're so far, and we didn't even get to this half of your journeys.
But there's still another part to that. So Crazy Ep Squad entered first Battle of the Year.
Okay.
Duck nervous. We come to the competitions. We see, yay! These are the world full other B-boys and they were doing big moves and like that. And we were just doing our thing.
Was this the first time you were exposed to a competition and other?
In 1999.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've heard about the African Battle Cry, which was the ABC, that was in 1998. So there were other competitions, but we didn't know because we just started out.
Yes.
And we weren't associated with anybody other than the guys that we met in Bontiville. And Wani wasn't from Bontiville, he was from Mitchell's Plain. So he just shared knowledge with us in terms of breaking, but not really competition. Dwayne came to us with the first competition and said, we're going to enter. And we entered and we were nervous. And unfortunately, Braki joined another crew. So he went to another crew. But we stuck with Crazy Ep Squad. And we got to the competition and I was just nervous and we decided to merge this year with Braki's crew and our crew.
One whole big team.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
big team. And we placed 5th that year.
Wow.
We didn't make the top 4.
And
in 2000, we went again, but then we went on our own Crazy Ep Squad. We placed 4th. And we battled some of our mentors, which was the Zanian B-Boys.
Wow.
Mark, may soul rest in peace, Levi, and what's his name, Joe Baka. I think it was just the 3 of them. I don't know if Cheesy was with God. Cheesy was actually the one who showed me how to do proper flares and flare with no flare.
So the flare is that move where your legs go up.
Your penis swing,
it's like literally a whole flare. Yeah, that's quite.
And then in 2001, on our journey, we met Angelo Jansen. He became part of our crew as a popper. But in 2002, unfortunately, we had a tragic accident and he passed on in that accident.
No.
Yes, we were in the car, so we lost one of our members in 2002. And he was only 17 years old at the time, just before his final matric exams. So, yeah, and that is what also inspired me to actually keep going and inspiring young people to do better and to do more for themselves. Doesn't matter where you come from. So that is where that
purpose and that drive, it comes from knowing that you can
Yes.
You can get out of the environment and become something
Definitely,
greater. So touching on Crazy Hip Squad happens, and then I recently watched a documentary called Prasafani Cup, and I got to know more about this group, Prasafani Cup, and who started this group, and the people who were involved in this group, and what impact you guys actually made, obviously in that era, and what impact it made for, I want to say, hip hop culture, and just hip hop culture as a whole, music. Because I know a lot of the rappers in that documentary were like, oh, yes, like these guys are different. They put a different spin to rap music and to just like the art of, just hip hop culture. And I do want to just like hear your perspective on being part of Brasa Funny Cup and being part of the, because you were a dancer in the group, you were a break dancer, but you weren't the only one, right? There were others in the group. But from your perspective, what, how important was that impact, not just for you but also for others coming after you? What impact was Brasa Funny Cup?
Actually, yo,
Taking you back.
taking me back, yeah. It was an honor being part of BVK. Like we were hungry dancers. Like this was it for us. B-boy was it for us.
Make or break.
Make or break. I remember that my mother and my granny them wasn't too happy that we started dancing, because they didn't see it as something that could create opportunities.
Sure.
So it was a very difficult process to also prove to them that, you know what, I'm gonna show you. And that was my mentality. I'm gonna show you.
Can.
I remember telling them at home, like, we will be the first Lodewyks that will get on a plane and travel.
Wow.
We will be the first Lodewyks in this house that will be on TV. So it was a big deal for us, because changing the narrative of how our people don't see other than just their circumstances.
Sure.
At the end of the day was, and it is difficult being in negative surroundings. And I'm not saying in my house, but when you walk outside your house, the only thing that you see is negative.
Yes.
And to break that cycle, and fortunately for us, we found breaking and we put all our efforts into it. And through putting all our efforts into it, Mr. Fact approached us. So there was stuff that we put in place before we even knew that we are going to be part of whoever. But we always had this mentality, you never know who's watching you.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
We need to put in the work. We need to work hard. And we used to grind each other, and we used to be hard on each other. Excuse me. So we decided one morning that we're gonna get our passports.
Sommer
net uit die blou tyd nog sand in die oë. Die hoenders wakker gemaak. And what happened? We went, Yara Uncle Lindsay. That is Angelo Jensen's daddy,
father.
And Michelle Jensen. So Uncle Lindsay is Papa Crazy Hip Squad, and Auntie Michelle is Mama Crazy Hip Squad.
So they were your
they were
parents basically.
Funny enough, it is through my dancing that I understood how a functional family should operate. Because I didn't grow up in a functional home, but I also didn't grow up in a house that didn't have order. Because if it wasn't for my grandmother and my mothers and my aunts and my uncles, I wouldn't have been the person I am today. But seeing a mother and a father raising their kids and how they operate in a setting, I came to a point where I understood, okay, this is how, and they looked after us. Up until today, we're still in contact with Uncle Lindsay, but they were Mama and Papa Crazy Hip Squad. So Uncle Lindsay dropped us in town. We went to go do our passports. We were quite excited. Ons gaat hier overseas traveling and whatever. So what happened was, at one of the Alex Girl Cups, Mr. Fett approached my brother, because I think one of the dancers were injured.
So your brother also danced with you?
Yes, Fawa. The one that was sitting next to me.
I believe that he looked just like you, and I was like, this has to be your brother.
And then, Mr. Fett Fat approached him, and then Mr. Fat allowed us to travel with him to see the shows and whatever. Eventually, one day, Mr. Fat came to ask us if we want to perform.
Wow.
He came to Uncle Lindsay, they spoke, and we said, yeah, we will do it, and we were quite excited. So they chose 4 of us, so it was myself, Brandon, my brother, and late Benny. Benny also passed on already, but he got sick couple of years back and he passed on.
Sure.
So it was the 4 of us. So Mr. Fat came and Mr. Fat said, look here, let's make or break, whatever I likes for us. And he can see that we are hungry, and he took us with to see how the shows are done.
Yes, okay.
We eventually started rehearsing, and our very first trip overseas was fortunately with Brasse van die Kaap.
And where did you guys go?
Belgium. Was a film festival.
Nice.
I will never forget. I will remember it like it was yesterday. I remember it like it was yesterday. So yeah, so we prepared for the rain without knowing that we're gonna get an opportunity.
That's
and we
amazing.
were ready. So yeah,
that's beautiful.
But we became part of a Brasse van die Kaap that was already making an impact. So they
were already established.
They gave us an opportunity to see other stuff other than what we were seeing and the negative things. And I think that was the kind of thing that actually inspired us to do better and to become better and not fall into the trap of what happens in our communities, thanks to BVK.
Wow. So, and who was your mentor?
We had lots of mentors.
Like within BVK or different stages?
Mr. Fat was our biggest mentor, because he would pick us up with a white van every morning. We would go train on the field with DJ Easy.
Sure.
DJ Easy used to drive us. We would go train for an hour, so we would do an hour weights and then we would do an hour.
Oh, like workouts and stuff.
And then we would go for a Gatsby. Mr. Fat, hy het die agtergebly nie.
Hey,
we also had this thing with BVK where we did the Terrific Tuesdays. So every Tuesday we would go to the movies and watch the latest movies that would come out.
So you guys were actually like a group of friends, kind of like that. You're actually family, and you enjoyed each other's company, and you just did
Mr. Fat
amazing.
Actually, he did a great deal for us. Actually, and not just for us, for other b-boys that also performed within Brasse van die Kaap. If you missed it, you missed it. If you grabbed it, you grabbed it.
Wow, you had to be hungry for it, for the opportunity.
And he had this straightforward way of him, but people knew where they stood with him at the end of the day.
That's good.
Hy het gekom in die lag hê. En as hy hom uit, his famous words was, die koppe gaan rol vandag, dan moet jy weet.
Yes, no.
Stuff is gonna go down.
It's gonna happen. So within BVK, Mr. Fat was your mentor, but you also had another journey or part of it.
That is apart from dancing, which was Uncle Lindsay still is, Auntie Michelle still is, Uncle Jonathan still is, Auntie Carol still is. There's a lot of people actually, but these are people that play fundamental roles in my life specifically and shaping me into the person I am today.
Wow. So there's so much, I feel like there's a lot of juicy stuff that has been said so far already, and we are still getting more from you, because you are currently also a mentor now for other emerging artists, emerging dancers. You're also a teacher, a dance educator, apart from you being a break dancer. You in that breaker. So before we get into that, I want us to just have a little bit of a dance trivia, just to get us in a little bit of a light-hearted mode. It's like a quiz. It's a quiz, because now we're sitting in the company of an OG. So there's someone who
Geo.
No, what is a Geo?
What is an OG? Can I ask you? No. What is an OG? What does it stand for?
According to my understanding, an OG is an original gangster.
Exactly my point. Like, ek was a gangster.
There's no other way to say it. Is that how you say gangs in Afrikaans? Gangster.
Is it?
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I'm Afrikaans. That is how we used to call it, gangster.
A gangster.
It's a gangster.
Not a gangster. So we're gonna do like a trivia. I'm not gonna put you on a timer because I feel like that's a bit pressure.
Okay.
And we don't like pressure.
I see what's happening.
I don't like.
I see.
We don't like pressure. So it's gonna be a cute trivia. I'll ask questions and I'll give you like options for it, and then.
So you're actually giving me the answer.
And then you must decide out of what answers is the right answer.
The Lord knows.
The Lord is with you.
Amen.
All time. So, no begin ons. Now we're gonna go. We're gonna see if Mr. Lodewyk does he know his dance? Does he know his dance? We're gonna find out. Okay. Question 1. What is hip-hop dance? Is it A contemporary ballet style? Is it B, a traditional folk dance? Or is it C, a dynamic street dance style?
It is C. It's a party over here. That is how the dancing started.
And that's our period. Correct, actually. Ding, ding, ding. What city is considered the birthplace of hip-hop? Is it A, LA, Los Angeles, B, Miami, or C, New York City?
New York City.
Pow, pow, pow.
The Bronx.
Correct. And it did start as a party. It was a party.
Exactly my point.
What is a key characteristic of hip-hop dance? Is it A, choreographed routines only, B, freestyle and improv, or C, slow and graceful movements?
B,
freestyle and improvisation. And that's on period.
Ding, ding, ding,
Ding, ding, ding, ding, ding. And what are you stressing about? You think getting it right? You can't. Yes. Is in hip-hop dance, what is a b-boy or a b-girl? Is it A dancer who specializes in locking? Or is it B, a dancer who performs only in nightclubs? Or is it C, a male or female break dancer?
Just go to the question again.
In hip-hop dance, what is a b-boy or a b-girl? Is it A lock?
You should have actually said the question should have read in the hip-hop culture. It is the last one.
It is C. That's a period. Actually, hip-hop is a culture, right?
Yes.
It's not a, because I remember asking.
There's a big fight with regards to calling hip-hop dance.
Ons gaan daar.
Hip-hop is a culture. That is a story for another day.
Well, because I remember asking a previous guest, Shay, about this culture thing. And we didn't go into depth about it, but just more so what is culture. Right, question 5. What style of hip-hop dance involves quick muscle contractions and releases to create sharp movements? Is it A, breaking? Is it B, popping? Or is it C, cramping?
It is B.
Period! Ding, 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 ding! What does the term locking refer to in hip-hop? Is it A, freezing in a pose during a dance? Or is it B, spinning on the head and hands? Or is it C, continuous flow and smooth movements? Freeze!
That is
it is
C.
A. No,
it can't be.
A, freezing in a pose during a dance. That's A, so it's A.
Okay.
You got it right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
No.
I'll give you the benefit.
These questions.
Number 7. What is voguing in hip-hop dance? Is it A dance style with slow and controlled movements? B, a dance style with characterized gliding and floating movements? Or C, a dance style with exaggerated runway-like movements? Which one is it?
Which one do I connect it to? A, B, or can call a friend?
didn't see that coming. Okay. Let me read the options again. I'll read two options again. Is it B, a dance style with characterized gliding and floating movements, or C, a style with exaggerated runway-like movements? It's which one? B or C?
I don't know which of the two it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna say you got it wrong. Because you're doing the moves but you're not saying.
I don't know which one to relate it to.
It's actually C.
Exactly.
A dance style with exaggerated runway-like movements.
Haal op hulle weg.
Run! I mean, don't they sometimes in the... No, it's like when you know when they walk.
They have that's a
runway.
So they have this.
It's like this.
This, you know the that endings they sometimes do that.
Yes.
I've seen people knock the back of the put.
That is what and how's your knees doing after that? I'm sure it's not doing well after that. Okay.
Respect to those who vogue. Respect.
There is a technique behind that, I'm sure, on how to. But unfortunately, you've seen some bad.
Let the body move to the moon.
Okay.
Tanzania. Hi. They're singing about voguing. Fine, it's fine.
I don't think I'm a music gal.
Yeah.
I just hear what I hear and that's it. Number 8. Which of the following is not a common element of hip hop dance? Is it A, baseball caps, B, high heeled shoes, or C, baggy clothing? Which of the following is not an element of hip hop dance or just hip hop? In terms of
for the sake of your question, I'm gonna say B. But hip hop is not the clothes you wear.
Okay, that's true.
Right? Hip hop is a group of collective people coming together with a collective idea. So that means culture, community, wanting the same outcome.
Right.
So it could be starting a business.
Right.
It could, but it's never about the clothes.
The clothes that you wear.
The baggy clothes, the baseball caps, the straight peak snapbacks, and whatever. That doesn't make you hip hop.
So this question is politically incorrect.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
In hip hop dance.
Torture.
In hip hop dance, what is a freeze? Is it A dance move that involves rapid spinning? Or is it B, a dance move where the dancer stops abruptly and holds a pose? Or is it C, a dance move that involves sliding on the floor?
B.
And that's correct. It is a dance move where the dancer stops abruptly and holds a pose. Last question. Which of the following dance styles is not considered a form of hip hop dance? Is it A, locking, B, popping, or C, jazz dance?
Ik nou allemaal gedink ze gaan sê ballroom, but it's C.
It's C.
But that's also actually a street dance.
Jazz.
Yeah. When you go into the history.
We only touched on it a little bit in university. We didn't go that far, but I believe that is correct, to be honest with you. And I would say you got everything right except for one.
Please. We're on record still. That should not be televised.
Cut it. Okay, guys, we just came out of a fun segment, dance trivia, and I believe that Mr. Lodewyk here got everything correct. So he gets a gold star. We can work here. We got somewhere to go. So that's good. That's good. Now that we know, you're not just someone who talks the talk. You're someone who walks the walk, right? And now I want to know, what going back to obviously people who have mentored you and your journey so far, what has motivated you to become a mentor?
So what motivated me to become a mentor is I don't like seeing our kids, most of our kids, our young people, um, ending up not having a passion for something in life. So I offer to teach whoever I can teach or coach whoever I can coach when it comes to breaking, because that is what I'm good at. I was taught that you must focus on your strength and weaknesses will fall away somehow, because in fact it was also a blessing and brings something to the table. So I've experienced quite some stuff through my dancing and achieved quite some stuff through dance, and I want to pass that on to someone else, because I expect them to achieve even more.
Wow.
And possibilities are endless. So what inspired me once again to become a coach is also, like I said, in 2002 the tragic accident that we were in, and the friend and brother that we lost, Angelo Jansen. His thoughts, that is always with me. Like, I remember making a declaration saying that even if I have to stand on my hands to be an inspiration to young people, that is what I will do. And today still I'm pushing to do just that, to inspire as many young people as I can, may it be through breaking, motivational speaking, some other fun activities. It is my mission to do that and to do so. And some of them actually take what I have to offer, and they are flourishing now.
Wow. Do you have one student in particular that you could give an example of?
Shay is one of them. He makes me proud.
That's good.
He makes me proud, and I'm proud to say that he granted me the opportunity to coach him.
Wow.
Because I can teach you, but if you don't use the knowledge, it's just gonna stay. It's pointless.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he's the one putting in the work. But I'm just glad to be able to be of assistance in that regard, where I'm able to guide and to steer him in a direction where he should go. I mean, sometimes he also follows his own heart, but that is what I coach him like. And I always tell him, if it doesn't feel right and doesn't sit right with you, know that something is not right. And you should know what kind of decision to make. Some decisions are easy, some decisions are hard. So yeah, Shay is one of those students that I'm extremely proud of.
Sure.
There are some others that I have had encounters with, which is Lishane, Gazla. I can mention some names, but I'm not gonna. I'm only gonna mention the names of the people that I know that is comfortable with me mentioning their name. I'm extremely proud of him for becoming the performer he became.
Wow.
Actually, him I also just put on the stage. He could dance, hip hop, and he was into cramping. We used to do Holiday Club together. He was much younger at the time. And I just took him because I always used to see him train at Portland's Indoor Center. Him and another guy on their own. And I was like, he's full of energy. I just took him and I started also teaching and breaking. And also a brother to me is Lishane Poison, aka Gazla.
Gazla. What does Gazla mean?
That you must ask him.
That's his crump. That's his crump name. What would you say? So, hearing a story, it really sounds like you had people who poured into you, growing in your journey, and now you are pouring into other people. And I think that is a beautiful gift that you have. That you have this open heart, that you want to help other young people. And especially now the world has evolved so much. The dance industry has evolved so much, where there's more opportunities now. There's more platforms now for dancers to become successful. But what would you say is a strong or strength or personality trait that is essential in being, because dancing is kind of most people's careers now. It's a job. So what would you say is a strong, and especially for you, because you are successful, in your field, what is a important strength or personality trait that is important to becoming successful?
It depends how you see success. Success is not always making the money, but it's also finding your purpose and helping others to get there along your way. And that is what I learned from also one of the other mentors, which is Sean Collett. So I would say there's a fine line between making it a career and being a battle dancer. So you can decide what it is for you. So is it successful in battle dancing or making a career out of it? Because obviously people see you in your battle mode and they like what they see, so they will approach you for certain things. But do you have the knowledge to be able to manage yourself, to conduct yourself when it comes to the business side of things? Because it's totally different to battling and prepping for battle. Yeah, you have to talk a certain language, and if you can't
in the business
sector, you have to be able to speak a certain language. If you can't, you're gonna miss out on big opportunities, and you're gonna sell yourself short when it comes to those big opportunities. So I always encourage, let me rather say, dancers to, as much as you focus on being one of the best in the world, also focus, if you're gonna make this your career, there are a lot of responsibilities that comes with it and a lot of sacrifice that comes with it. On this journey, you might have to get yourself a part-time job to sustain what you are doing up until you can line up jobs for yourself, 100%. Know how to market yourself, know how to do. So because I remember after I wasn't with Brasafani Cup anymore, I met this guy, Bruce Talia, which was in charge of Fusion at Ratanga Junction.
Fusion at Ratanga? What is Fusion?
It was a dance entertainment. That was the entertainment at Ratanga Junction at the time. Yeah. So I danced with him. I met him at a Standard Bank event.
Okay.
So the funny thing is, I stepped into Standard Bank. I had to go renew my card. Something was wrong with my card, and one of the consultants asked me, "So what do you do?" I said, "No, I dance at blah blah blah, Brasafani Cup." So they said, "Okay, they're having the annual, Standard Bank normally have the every year showcase where the staff do a performance on stage."
Standard Bank staff.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So I performed with a group of Standard Bank staff.
Oh wow.
And that is where Bruce saw me, and he gave me his ticket, his number.
Okay.
And I gave him a call, and he said, "Yo, they're running this, and they have dancers." And he asked me if I can be like a standby. I said, "Cool, I will be a standby." So I used to go in now and then perform on stage up until I became a resident performer at Ratanga.
So that means like you're permanent.
Yeah, so it was like season. So every season we would be on stage.
Yeah.
So I did that for almost 3 years.
Sure.
And then after that I decided to go into like NGO settings to upskill myself in facilitation, to get to know other stuff. And then I started working for Dance for Life, which was an NGO. And then after Dance for Life, I started working for Life Choices, became a facilitator there. And that's where my facilitation skills were sharpened, was at Life Choices. And from Life Choices, I ended up in government.
So facilitation was not limited to dancing only. It was everything.
Everything.
Okay, and that is what led up to the work at the city.
Not really, but it's just what I opened myself up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, the next phase of Nathan Lodewyk.
Wow, and that's amazing because you didn't limit yourself only to one thing.
Yeah. So it is important that you must find streams of income for yourself.
Yes.
Like I said, if you're gonna make dancing a career, there's a business lingo that goes with it, and you must be able read,
research.
If you can't manage yourself, find someone that you can trust, that knows the industry, because industry and being a competition b-boy or beagle or dancer is two totally different ball games. Like, it's not, industry is not preparing for the next battle. So you battle today, and after that is done, you're going to ask, oh, when is the next battle? So is that all you are about? Is that what your dancing is about for you? Or is it to inspire? Is it to uplift? Is it to develop? And is it to create? Because after you, there must be a next generation.
And who's gonna come after
And
you?
who's going to come after you?
And that is something really interesting, because I want to ask you, what is the difference? Because this is a question that I also always ask, and I can't seem to get to this answer, is what is there a difference between community and industry? And if there are, as I'm sure there probably is, what would that difference be?
There's a big difference between the two. I'm sure some other people would have their own opinions with regards to this question, but mine is, community is love, togetherness,
Support,
unity, encouragement, being there for one another. That is community. Industry is money. It's about the job, and it's about the job that needs to get done. I don't care how you feel or what you need to do to get through it.
It needs to get
It's
done.
about money. It needs to get done. So that is the
difference between the two.
Yeah. So there's no emotion in the one, and in the other one there is love. There's warmth. There's a sense of belonging. That is community. That is culture.
That's culture.
So you know where you belong. Like, you are not an outcast. I fit in here. Industry is totally different. Industry is where you go and you need to find ways and means to make money.
To
so
survive.
you go to industry. It's about getting the job done.
Okay,
it's about deadlines. It's about, that's industry.
And it's like, okay, so I get the difference now between the two. So what happens if a dancer decides, because you mentioned that there's a difference between someone who's a battle dancer, they do that. Then there's a difference between someone who makes it their career. Can the two gel together? If I'm a dancer, for example, and I like to do battles also, but I also know I need to make money because I need to put food on the table. How do the two link up? Can they coexist?
They can. It's about finding the silver line. It's about balance.
It's about balancing the two.
And it's about understanding your why. Because if you don't understand your why, you won't be able to find the balance between the two.
Wow. And that's so important, to know your purpose as to why you are doing what you do. And that's because you mentioned it earlier also, you found your why. And that is what kept that hunger there, that motivation to keep going. And along the way, you discovered more skills and you upskilled yourself, and that is what opened even more doors. And so in order to upskill, we must upskill ourselves so we could give to the next generation and to pass it on like that. And so it's not a bad thing, right, to be someone who's a career dancer, for example, because obviously it's what you love doing, and you find this is a place where you can also survive, but you can also make money and you can also inspire other people. Is this a negative thing? Is it all negative? Because I know, like you said, industry is about getting the job done. It's about deadlines, about can you do it, yes or no?
That's the commercial side of things, because in the beginning, to begin with, it was never about the money when you started dancing.
It was about the love for it.
Exactly. So when it goes to industry, it becomes a commercial thing. It's about you showcasing your skill for money. But the two can
coexist
if this is your career path.
Okay.
You just need to figure out what is your plan and your way forward and how you're going to do it. But in all of this, my encouragement is to everybody that makes this their career is to know your worth. Because if you don't know your worth, you make it difficult for the next dancer. Because industry will say, yeah, but we paid this amount for that and that and the other. Why are you so expensive, and what makes you special?
Right.
So
Sure.
we need to take a stand for who we are and what we do, because it took hours of training to obtain the skill.
100%.
Just like someone that went to university to obtain their degree or their masters and their honors.
100%.
It takes years. It's not easy. Blood, sweat, and tears. And then someone that's in the industry want to come along and they want to say, look, I have 1,000 rand for you, or I have 20, or I have 500 rand for you. And you know, this is corporates.
They have money.
And they have money. We just need, no, bruh.
Yeah.
No, bruh.
No.
No, bruh. Even though
You know your worth.
Even though it was never about the money to begin with, I know why I'm dancing, but I'm not gonna allow corporates or industry to destroy, to misuse, and to exploit, and that is what happens a lot. And sad reality is most of our dancers come from very poor backgrounds. I hate mentioning that. No one comes from a background. People come from different backgrounds, to put it that way. So not everybody is in a fortunate position where you see. So when you're in an unfortunate position and you get an opportunity and they put you under the belt, you're gonna take it because you don't know any better. So it's about learning, and it's about getting to know, and it's about getting to understand the business lingo, and being able to sit in corporate meetings and market yourself to a point where they say, no, we need this. Doesn't matter what the cost, we need this. So it's about knowing your worth also at the end of the day.
Wow. And obviously with it's like literally just how you mentioned it, we need to research and we need to get the knowledge on how to actually like get up on these levels of these corporate guys and introduce yourself. Tell them who you are. You step into the room.
But some of us don't understand that language. It's you're talking about what? What invoice? What are you talking about? Who? How do you do an invoice? You see.
And it's so important to acquire these skills because you are. Someone told me, no, you should never call yourself a brand. You're not a brand. I'm not sure.
You are a brand.
I'm not sure because how
you are. You become, the moment you start putting yourself out there, you become a brand.
And you need to market the brand.
Nathan Lodewyk is a brand.
So, and I know because this person was like, no, we're all humans, and we. It's like, I know, but there's a business career side that exists, and
people put a price. Like if I look at, let's take a therapist. For instance, they study, they get their degrees, they get their masters, they get their license to practice.
Yes.
So you book. For an hour, you're gonna pay 500 rand or 600 rand. They charge you, and what's going to happen in that therapy session? They're gonna just allow you to speak.
Just let it all out, and you're gonna pay them.
You're gonna pay them.
Yeah. You're not gonna ask questions.
So if they can put prices like that on what they do because they know their worth. It's their time.
100%.
So if someone needs your time and they need you to do so, you need to know your worth when it comes to that. You don't settle for second best. You go for gold. However, there are some, and you also need to know when and where this needs to happen. So there's a fine line between the two, depending on the type of event, the caliber of the event. Is it a free event? Is it this event?
And what about your skill level?
Is there a budget for this event? So there's a lot of things that goes with this. So you should know where you should charge what for your services.
That is so true.
When it comes to making this your career.
100%. And every gig or it's different. Each one is different. So you gotta figure it out. How are you gonna charge for that?
Some you do for free, and some you get paid for. That is how it goes.
But that is like, I know for me, like I mentioned earlier on when we were speaking, is that along the way I had to learn about like the business side, because I also have a father who's also a business guy, and he stressed that, like, he made it a point to tell me, look, you need to know about. So I was fortunate enough to have my father teach me some business skills that I can learn so that I don't get messed around out there, because he explained to me they got messed around when they were coming up as artists, and
life is the best teacher.
it's, and he didn't want the same for me going forward.
Yeah.
And so I think this is, and we need more. We need more dancers to know about this. Because too many times we are settling for less. And there's also another thing I wanted to mention is that, how do you know when to, like you said, you must know the gig, you must know if it's a free event or whatever. But at the same time, when I was coming up, I was coming up as a dancer, people didn't know who I was. So I couldn't charge people an arm and a leg because they didn't know my skill level. They didn't know what I bring to the table yet. And so how do you know when to start charging? Because a lot of the times you will maybe just do events when you're coming up for just exposure, and after some time you will obviously you'll give people your quotation and an invoice for your work. So how do you know?
Look, there are different ways of doing it. It's either you belong to a studio.
Oh, okay. So you're under a banner.
And you are under a banner, yes.
Okay.
Right? You get taught the business side of it and whatever. But I'm gonna speak about breaking. For breaking, it's more of earning your respect on the battleground. And representing your country. Always staying in the top 4 or winning big competition puts you out there. So people, I'm sure you know some names when it comes to our B-boys and our B-girls in Cape Town, SA. So those people can now already demand.
Wow, yeah.
You understand? When it comes to gigs and stuff, this is my standard because this is who I am. So they can place a demand on what they want to earn when they do this, that, or the other.
Oh, wow.
And also you sign up with agencies.
Oh yes, yeah, for commercials.
So that is avenues that you can go, that you can take. But I'm talking about, there are big events companies that are also looking for top-notch dancers and top performers and entertainers. So your name will get recognized if
you continuously showing up on that battle and you are winning, or you're getting to a certain.
You need to be out there, and you need to be on a level.
Wow.
You can't be mediocre expecting big jobs.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. What is the common misconception that people have about dance in general? What do you think?
The common misconception people normally have about dance, they all feel that they are the best.
Sure.
And that is not wrong.
But I was not gonna ask you, that
is not wrong. You are right. But you must always remember there will always be someone better than you. And so you need to be one of those dancers that have that in mind, not making you a weaker dancer. And also that the biggest misconception is that you can't make a career out of it.
Oh, yes. And it still exists today. While there are people who are.
I've experienced like I've been told already, like when I was still very young. I'm not old, but when I was still younger and I was still dancing and performing shows and doing stuff, soos ek nog soos 'n windtoon gelyk het.
Oh.
A windtoon.
Is this a one? So
like ripped, whatever the case may be. There were people that used to tell me, I'm not gonna mention names, you must get yourself a real job, or you must get yourself a this. But I always believe that if this is what God has placed in my heart and the gift that He's given me, if not, why not? Because the Bible says that a man's gift will make room for him, and his talent will bring him before great men.
Yeah, and that happens.
So I've always loved by that scripture, and this is how I also met a very good friend of mine who is the founder of Paradigm Shift Leadership Academy. He is a motivational speaker,
Wow.
transformational life coach.
Sure.
He lived in Beacon Valley, Cape Flats. He was a taxi gachi, south in Corner Wynberg, and today he lives in Wales. For the last couple of years, he has a CD out, he has a clothing brand out.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I'm not wearing any
No
attire
merch.
today, but you can go search him on Instagram, Paradigm Shift.
Paradigm Shift. I feel like I follow them, honestly. I feel like I follow them.
And then I'm also part of the Vokes Foundation
Okay,
Academy
yes. I've
with
heard of
Vokes.
it. Yeah.
And then I also have my own little thing called the Alpha Culture Breaking Academy, where I teach kids on a Saturday morning. I need to change the day because my Saturdays become busy.
Oh,
Yeah,
busy guy.
So like I would normally do them 8:30 to 10:30. I would
So you train them.
Yeah, I would take my daughter to dance class. Dance class was at 11 to 12. Come home. If I have nothing else to do, I would normally just relax and watch a movie or a series or whatever. But that is what I'm associated with, and then also, if I'm allowed to, I just would like to also say that dope work that I would like to salute some people for their efforts and their work they put in building the culture, which is Joe Bakker, Angelo van Wyk, with Hilderwood, not Hilderwood projects, Hilderwood also, yes, much respect, yes. And Hood Up Africa, much respect. B-Boy Sali, that's in Sierbrak, much respect. Eddie, that's in Worcester, Wellington, much respect. And also the Vokes Foundation Academy, much respect. And all those who are contributing to uplifting the culture, much respect. And my encouragement to them is let's put our differences aside and let's start rolling out the proper development of breaking, and let's bring our community together so that we can get our culture back.
Wow, I love it, I love it, I love it. So closing off questions, because we went into a lot of detail now with just culture, dance, business, and all of these things, and these are important things to share, especially with the work that you do, because you're uplifting other young people. So just what advice would you give to emerging dancers, whatever the direction they decide to choose, whether they want to become career dancers or they want to become they just love what they're doing? What advice would you have for them?
Some of them is not gonna like what I'm going to say now.
Yay.
But it's best to be straightforward.
It's best.
Number one is, if you are going to decide in making this your income, don't play games. You're gonna have to put in the work. You're gonna have to be real with yourself, because it's gonna take a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. Don't be mediocre. Always go the extra mile when it comes to training, and open yourself up and become a student and remain a student, because if you become unteachable, uncoachable, you're gonna be a problem in the long run, and you might as well leave making this your career path, and make sure that this is not your only stream of income.
Tap into your other skills.
Yeah. Awesome. Whether it be photography, videography, do something that's gonna make you earn an income.
Okay, thank you so much for that advice. Last question, what's next for you?
What's next for me?
What's next for you, and where can we find you so we can keep up?
You can find me on my IG, Nathan _Lodewyk.
Right, Lodewyk.
And also on Facebook. I'm not on a lot of social media platforms, but those are the two that you can find me on. What's next for me? You need to check on social media. I'm not revealing anything on here, as per se. I have my personal reasons, but I will be doing what I've always been doing. But watch the space.
I love it.
Also, I'm selling t-shirts.
Ooh.
So the t-shirts is basically the Alpha Culture Breaking Academy t-shirts, because I don't charge the kids that I train. So it's a form of not income, it's to get them where they need to be. If I need to take them to competitions, there needs to be transport. If I need to enter them in competitions, there needs to be money to register them, and some of the kids can't afford it. So hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, find out what it is, and I will share the details with you.
Is it at Nathan _ or what? Just Nathan.
And I'm on TikTok as well, but I don't know my TikTok name. Whatever the case may be, you'll find me there. OG, man, like, it's not my thing, man. That's why other people employ people to handle their social media, because the admin
is too much. I'm too busy for admin. Okay.
Yeah, but it's Nathan Lodewyk _ it's Nathan _ Lodewyk Instagram.
On Instagram, okay.
And then Facebook is just Nathan Lodewyk.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nathan Lodewyk, for I said Lodewyk. So wrong. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat to us here at Kanjay Dance and sharing your knowledge. And I believe that with sharing, you are imparting and you are uplifting somebody else with what you're doing just by sharing, you know. So I'm so excited to see your ongoing journey and the more things that you're going to be doing with our young people, and also with your with Alpha Culture. I'm very with Alpha Culture and Vogue's Foundation. I'm very excited to see what's ahead and the amazing talent that's going to come out of this that you are doing. So until next time, we must just watch the space. That's all we can do, and watch the space for Kanjay Dance.
We move in silence.
And that's
so
a wrap.
But I forgot to say before you say that's the wrap. From being an introvert, going into an extrovert was because of my breaking. It gave me confidence, because there came a time when I stepped out of the competition battle scene, and sy moet mos nou praat nou. So what happened? BBOY Benny, one of SA's best B-boys, recommended me to be an MC at the African Hip Hop Indaba for the very first time, because normally what would happen at practices, we would practice and I would be, ladies and gentlemen, and on the floor we have MB1, and this is the time that I was dancing with Immortal Style. I actually went to South Korea. Or 16, me and my brother went to South Korea with Immortal Style, and he recommended me, and that is how I became an MC for the competitions.
So you have to do another skill there.
Yeah, and the first time was very weird, but people actually loved me. They were laughing, they cracked themselves up. I didn't know that I was so full of it, but that boosted my confidence, and I could never speak in front of people I'm speaking to you now. We would go to an event, or we would go to a family party with a crew. I would come in and greet everybody. An hour later, they would ask, "Where's Nathan?" And Nathan is sitting in front of them. Maar hy sit net doodstil.
Wow, I didn't even know you were there.
Yeah, so,
you were just invisible.
So that's a little bit of an inside story.
I love it. So you're ambivert. You have to do both.
And the first time I hear about the
ambivert. You both. You both. But the extrovertedness comes from having to speak and having to be that person. But the introvert comes when you need to just... Yeah. Yes. But thank you so much once again for being here. Watch the space.